Welcome to Sterling High School. Today is Friday, March 12th, 2021. I'm Jarod Claybourn, joined by Mr. Matt Sheehan, and we're happy to be here together. Coach, how are you doing, you and your family, sir?
It's always the tough question. The opening question is always the toughest one. We are doing outstanding. You know, the days are getting a little bit longer. It's late outside, back to school, obviously, and really enjoying the opportunities that we have both in, out of school, and around. So we're doing great. Thank you.
Very good. Looking forward to a nice weekend, continued bright weather, and that's awesome. So we're here together today, and the one thing that we wanted to acknowledge right away is that we are really marking a one-year anniversary of the impact of COVID on education. So it was Friday, March 13th, 2020 was our last day in school, and we went out at that point. We made the official statement of 2 weeks. We didn't know. There was still hope of a spring season at that point, and here we are a year later. And so huge impact, but we think there's a lot of triumphs that we've made as well during that time.
Yeah. When you talk about an impact, an all-encompassing impact, it's affected obviously every aspect of our lives. And when we focus on education, you know, there's been a huge loss, but think about all we've accomplished as well. You know, over this last 12 months, you know, if you walked the halls of Sterling a year ago, the number of our staff who could work remotely, you know, was probably a small percent. You know, 1 or 2 of the teachers could really do that. You walk the halls today, and how adept our teachers are, how talented and skilled they are at working remotely is amazing. So that's a real big standout in my mind. The second thing that really stands out is our community. You know, our communities really stood up and supported not only the schools, but the students in the schools, and the lawn signs, the packages, the Adopt a Senior program that we had. Last year we did a program, Light the Nights. You know, these are just signs of our school community, our surrounding community coming together in support of one another. You know, and that's what you need. You know, so trying times, you need support of each other. So we're very proud of that.
That's great. And so we wanted to also highlight, you know, we came back to school. We took our time doing a very thorough training process to make sure safety was paramount. But we've been in school with in-person instruction since September. We had a little break over the holiday, and now, you know, we offered 4 days in person, and we are really operating at a great capacity, and that we're happy with. And again, that's the credit of our staff, the maintenance staff, keeping this place clean and prepared, to the students who are willing to do that. And I just want to make a note that currently, we still at Sterling High School in our community, 48% of our parents have elected to keep their students home fully right now. So we are maximizing a lot opposite of that. But we wanted to have a conversation about, you're hearing other schools talk about, we're going back full time. And I even had a conversation in the pizza shop last night. Somebody said, oh, when are you going back full time? I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? Because technically, we're offering this fullest experience that we think is possible meeting the guidelines. So when we're hearing other these schools, and we don't want to mention their names, that they're going back full time, is that accurate? Is that true as you're getting information from the county?
You know, one of the secondary things that I guess stood out to me was the support I get from the local superintendents, the Camden County superintendents, and the Camden County Department of Education. You know, and I can't say enough about how they've guided us through this situation. So you hear about schools returning to full-time education. As Mr. Claybourn said, we've been doing it since September in the form and fashion that is appropriate for this time. So that term in itself can be deceiving. Yeah. On the surface, if you look at that, that means 100% of your students in 5 days a week for a full 7-hour day or 8-hour day. Nobody is doing that, you know, and that's really a challenge under the circumstances we have now. So our parents have the right to, you know, opt for a remote option. We would see a win for us if we can get that percentage back our way, where kids are coming in, the weather's getting nicer, there's more activities here at school, more opportunities here at school. If we can get that number down, but again, that's a good indicator on where our community feels. And again, high school is so much different than elementary, middle school. The social lives that these kids have beyond the school day, the activities they're involved in beyond the school day. It was really a challenge for us in-house to kind of manage and to kind of control. I think the best thing that we can do is, this is a very safe environment because of the protocols that we put in place as per NJS or New Jersey Department of Health, Camden County Department of Health. We don't deny that.
Right.
But we don't want to challenge that and risk that, that safety and that well-being. So it can be deceiving, and you really don't know what it means overall. I think that our plan is to continue on with what we're doing and just try to entice students back into their cohort groups, but also when we do offer 4-day, that they, if you are interested in that, see if that's doable, within our classroom limitations.
Yeah, I think the media is pumping up and they're coding these words like these full day, and it's just not really accurate of reflection of what's actually happening in those districts. And the message that I think is that we're actually ahead of many of those districts in the fact that we've already requested for students to come out and be here 4 days.
And without giving a name, there is a school in South Jersey that has said they're going back full time. In speaking to their superintendent, in their cohort groups, they average about 125 kids a day. So when they combine their cohorts, they're 250, maybe 300 students. We get that in our cohort groups.
Right.
So when they're combining cohorts going 5 days a week, it doesn't mean exactly what your mind may think it means. So it works for them, and it keeps them safe. Some schools are pushing the limits of the 6 feet. And at Sterling High School, there's a standard of care that we feel that we have to meet in order to provide a safe environment for our students and staff. So, any changes that we make will be based upon the guidance that we receive from the New Jersey State Department of Health, the Camden County Department of Health. And that standard of care is really our number one indicator on how we move forward. So status quo here, try to invite students back. And then I'm hoping that as vaccination gets out, as people get healthy, that we'll get guidance on how to increase that school day and those numbers. But remember, the executive order still stands that parents have the right for remote. So no matter what we do option-wise, they're going to have that right, to make that decision.
Good. And speaking to all of those pieces of information that are guiding us, the report is that the 6 feet separation is not going to go away. And the impact on that on schools is tremendous. And you talked about the standard of care. For us to challenge that 6 feet would disrupt a certain level of care provided, and we don't want to do that. So as a result, we don't anticipate much change to our current schedule for the remainder of the school year here. Obviously, we don't know. Things could happen, but anticipating right now, specifically with that 6 feet, that our schedule would likely stay the same. Now, I do want to say that when we get to the fourth quarter, if you're a person that has yet to apply or you want to come back, you might have that opportunity at the fourth quarter, and we're going to do the best we can, again, looking at every classroom to ensure that we have a cap and that those rooms are safe. So we're not going to go over that, but we'll continue to bring back to our max capacity that we're able to do so. You also mentioned the county. I want to give them a shout out as well. The county worked with one of our local vaccination centers, and the county really County Department of Education specifically took an active role in helping getting our teachers vaccination schedules. And so we're happy that we have a whole nother group of teachers that will be vaccinated very shortly, and want to thank the county for their help with that.
Yeah, they kind of posed this to the local superintendents last Friday, as a matter of fact, and within a matter of a couple of days, once they went to 1B with educators and people involved in schools, boy, they got a great response. I think the report was over 900 educators from Monday through Thursday received vaccinations, and Sterling's teachers who haven't already scheduled or who don't desire to get a vaccination have been able to schedule their appointments. And that's reassuring. I know our staff wants to make sure that their health and safety is considered, and this is just another assist that we're getting from the county. So
great.
I appreciate the cooperation there.
Sterling's been doing a great job of providing opportunities for our students, and we've said that over and over. The athletics, they had a wonderful opportunity to participate in the fall. The winter, we saw the winter basketball with a great opportunity to participate, and now we're getting into winter 3, so now we have wrestling and volleyball going. And again, our number one goal is the opportunity to participate, the health and emotional health for our students to be able to do that, and those things have been successful.
Yeah, and I know with our first shot at winter sports, they opened it up. First off, there was no spectators, no parent involvement or attendance, and then they opened up to parents to attend. And again, I think just for the students, but also for their parents, boy, that was a nice opportunity, to have a little bit of normalcy that they could watch their student play. basketball, and we're hoping we can continue that with wrestling and volleyball as we hit this next phase. And then obviously once we get to the spring, most of the sports are outside, and they'll apply the same principles to our outdoor spring season as we did in the fall, which again lends itself. You got nice weather, you get a chance to see your athletes, your students participate in something that's healthy, and sometimes more important than the outcome of the game is just that participation.
Yeah.
You know.
So, you know, as we're coming back and everything comes back, we want to continue to encourage you. None of these guidance does not change. You know, wash your hands, social distancing, protect your bubble, wear your mask. You know, there's almost two sides. You know, my family's been very, very tight-knit on protecting ourselves. You know, I have not seen my parents, my in-laws. We haven't done that, and we're going to be careful as we bring that back. Where others are ready, they're coming back, and just encourage you to continue to exercise patience for your neighbor, the people around you, as everybody's dealing with this on their own. But the reality is, you know, in America, we've lost over 500,000 Americans to COVID. So it is very real. As eager as we are to get back, we're going to continue to do it in a safe manner.
Yeah, I think if you talk to enough people, I think everybody you talk to has been touched by COVID in one way, shape, or form. And hopefully, you know, it hasn't been the casualty to it, but I'm sure there's examples out there. So we've hopefully are turning the corner, but again, just being patient and being smart is always going to be the way that we're going to promote and that we're going to endorse here at Sterling High School. You know, everybody's made sacrifices. You know, we talked about not seeing family members and maybe not going on that family vacation due to quarantine efforts. We still have to stand by those, you know, as best we can just to promote safety here at Sterling High School. So make a few more sacrifices. We hope that'll enable us more experiences as we move forward. Great.
Anything else with the COVID or?
No, well, you know what, I just want to again thank our students and our community for their support. I know that we're picking up with our second winter season and eventually our spring season. Good luck to all the students taking SATs. Again, that's a normal type event, you know, as they plan on pursuing possibly education beyond high school. And just know that we're here for you, whether it's in person or remotely. And we love seeing our students in the building. I think it just energizes and motivates us, because really that's why we got into this, you know, the business of educating kids is to see kids every day. So, you know, we love seeing it, and please don't hesitate to check our website for information, contact an administrator or myself with any concerns that you may have.
With all of the digital tech that we're doing, connecting through a screen, that's one of the things we're excited about this weekend, is maybe we can turn a screen off and get outside. But we decided as a admin and then our school safety climate team that we need to address some of the social safety on online safety. And so Mrs. Eppright and our school safety team partnered with the Camden County Prosecutor's Office to present a program that we did virtually, but we made it available online. You can go to the website under recent news and see it. It was a social media awareness, just reminders to our students and staff of some of the dangers associated with being online, some of the apps. It was really a great program, maybe eye-opening for some students and maybe parents, so I encourage you to do that. But, you know, as we add different technologies, different methods, you know, we have to be smart and wise and learn some of the pitfalls or dangers within them. So we've provided that, and I encourage you to check that out. Okay, so it's daylight saving time this weekend. The sun's going to be out. We encourage you to be out there in it, and remember to set those clocks properly. But otherwise, thank you for joining us today. We are Sterling Strong, and go Knights.